we want to keep in mind that this church represents Harlem now. This church represents the culture that made Harlem what it was. This church represents Billie Holiday, whether she be a saint or a sinner or no. This church represents Adam Clayton Powell, whether he be a drunk and a philanderer and an adulterer or no. This church represents the essence of Apollo Theater. When Stevie Wonder, just a little boy, 10 years old, played fingertips at the Apollo and brought back for an encore and shook the world at the Apollo Theater. This church represents that heritage, that it should never die. This church represents the heritage of Father Divine. This church, this people represents the culture of the Sugar Bowl. This church represents the culture of Wilt Small's Paradise. This church represents the culture of the great churches of this community and the great preachers who built churches in this community, like John Paul Lasson. This church represents that culture, and we're the only thing standing between that culture and the culture of homosexuality and a whole lot of other debauchery. That's what this church represents. You need to understand that. You may get angry with me, I may not understand, and you may not understand why people are doing the things that they're doing, why young boys or other persons are doing the things, why the evil in them, and you may not see it as evil, but you understand the devil will use anything and anyone he can to try to take down this church and run it over, and we no longer have Harlem. We no longer have that culture. We no longer have a place where people can be identified. That's all gone. And if I'm moved, that's what happened. You have to understand that. So when you fellowship anybody who is raising their hand in the smallest way against this house, you have to understand just how wicked you are. You have to understand that. You may not want to go there. You may decide that I'm wrong and they're right. That's okay if that's where you are. But you need to understand, if you ever wake up and recognize, if I'm taking down Harlem, is gone in all of its culture. It's gone. Who else is going to stand up for it? It's gone. If I leave, who will stand if I'm gone? Who will stand and cry aloud and spare not if I'm gone? But I'm not going anywhere. You also need to understand, maybe you don't understand me. Maybe you are angry at me, or maybe you got some aversions, or maybe you have sympathy for the people who are trying to not only destroy this house, but destroy the spirits of my grandmama who lived in this community. It's that deep. And not only are they trying to destroy, but they want to plant a root that's ungodly. They want to plant something that's uglier than ugly itself in the place of the church, in the place of ATLAH. They want to place and plant some homosexuality. You need to understand that. If you have any kind of spirit of sympathy for those who have put their hands, because once it's gone, it's gone. Once I'm gone, there's nothing left. And there's no protector of the people. Once I'm gone, widowhoods will increase. Once I'm gone, homeless shelters will increase. Once I'm gone, they won't let y'all move to Staten Island. Got too many folk out there don't like you. Won't let you move to the Bronx because the Latino people are holding on to theirs. Y'all crazy as hell. Y'all giving up yours. Once I'm gone, you got to go back to Georgia or South Carolina or Mississippi or somewhere because the rent is too high. There'll be no place you can live. Once I'm gone. Once this church is gone. Please try to understand that. This is a bit of a news blog we do looking at spiritual wickedness in high places for the most part, making some observations about it and giving people a biblical foundation to the way of interpreting rather than have Sean Hannity or Laura Ingraham or Janine Pirro or Anderson Cooper or Rachel Maddow or Don Lemon, Rush Limbaugh interpret what's going on in the world. You come to me and I'll tell you based on what the Word of God says. They'll just give you their worldly, sinful view. But the Manning Report will tell you what God has said, whether to say yea or nay, whether to go or to stay. You'll be led by the word of Almighty God. Come to the Manning Report on a daily basis to interpret the spiritual wickedness in high places, because there's plenty of it that's going on. And so I'm the Lord's servant, James David Righteous Rebel Manning. and I'm here to serve you with news and information.